In 1923, the University of Alabama offered Wade their head coaching position. What they got was an iron disciplinarian who immediately transformed the culture of Alabama football. Wade's players called him the Bear.
We ride with legends, we roll with pride. Way to saving the Crimson Tide. 18 rings, the record's clear. Dynasty built year after year. We teach the past, we preach the now. We break it down, show you how. From Bryant's grit to Bama's roll, we stomp the field and on the score. Around the herd, we speak the truth. Where glory lives and legends prove. Basketball's rise, Oates leads the way. Final four dreams in full display. Gymnastics flips with flawless grace. Champions born in every space. We honor hustle, we praise the grind. Every sport, every tight mind. From hardwood heat to balance beam. We rep the red, we rep the team. Around the herd, we speak the truth. Where glory lives and legends prove. Around the herd, we speak the truth. Where glory lives and legends prove. We don't just talk, we educate. Breaking down plays, we elevate Heisman runs and draft day fame. We know the stats, we name the game. Rivals tremble when down us kneel. We bring the facts, we bring the fear. The same just hype its legacy. The tide rolls deep in history. Around the herd, we speak the truth. Where glory lives and legends prove. So tune in loud, let the story unfold. Of crimson fire and heart so bold. We shine the light on every wind. From past to present we dive in. This show's for fans who bleed that red. Who know the names, the paths they tread. We're not just proud, we're certified. The voice, the pulse of Crimson Tide. Around the herd, we speak the truth. Where glory lives and legends prove. Around the herd, we speak the truth. Where glory lives and legends prove.
Hey, roll tide, everybody. My camera went out. The mic went out. I went out. This is going to be the gas station sushi episode because things are rumbling and bumbling, and I'm not talking about down in Tuscaloosa. Roll tide, everybody. Welcome to Tight Sports, the Alabama football mega cast. I'm having a great Tuesday. I hope you are as well. Thank you for joining me today on whichever virtual space you have chosen. Tell everybody to lock me in. Really, I mean, I got a big growth spurt last week. We are really close to getting to that 700 subscriber. And just so you know, that 700 subscriber will receive all my love and admiration for clicking on that button. Now, just be sure that that's you. So share a pound with a brother and drop that thing right on the subscribe button. And so we can make that move to 700, and next thing we are on 5,000 in no time flat, like a breeze. I need the power of the people to get this channel where it's supposed to be. There's space out there, you know what I'm saying? See, what's my man in Gil's Arena? He gave up ownership. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna be with you to the duration. I'm not gonna sell out to the man unless it's like really significant amount of money. And remember, if I successfully stimulate the happy juice in your gray matter and make your funny bone jiggle, please be sure to let the algorithm know what we're doing over here by poking that like button right in the eye. Let's get to it, man. I got a beef. Welcome to the tundra of the South, the only place where the grass is crimson and the truth is colder than a January morning in North Carolina and really in North Georgia and especially in North Alabama. My goodness, it was cold this last weekend. You seen the thumbnail. I got smoked with him. I mean, it's one thing to come and you know, do whatever you got to do, but you see what it is. Dalen Hollywood Smothers, which is kind of crazy. Better known from now on as Dalen. I'm on your head today. I'm on your head today because I don't know, man. If the man was still on campus, if I had the power to get to him, man, I had that man running gases until he turned 30 years old. What is he, 22? Yeah, he'd be real strong. But you know, just this thought, man, this thought process of this guy is weird. Because you know, in Alabama, man, they don't do good enough. Tuscaloosa, they set standards. Throughout the decades, there's been different standards, different coaches, you know, and if you can't breathe by the fourth quarter, then you're unready with a scripted 8 anyway. And I'm not here to bash the young man's personal life or, you know, for choosing his family's future over the Crimson Tide. We always say here, take care of your people, take care of mama. But when you step into this arena and you speak on the program, you got to have your facts straight, bro. And get your chin strapped tight because I'm about to check that chin. Right now, the Alabama nation is collectively feeling like a dog with his junk stuck in between the planks on the porch floor. Irritated, trapped, and looking for something to bite. Why? Because a man who hasn't won a meaningful thing probably since high school, but definitely not in this collegiate sport, had the unmitigated gall to cast dispersions on a program that is the gold standard. I don't care where you're looking. It is the gold standard. I was looking at this article about this recension reality on January 10th. Go back then where the writing was already on the wall. There was one guy at the Crimson Tide who was a former Tide player. He said that, you know, what he felt was that the second that this man booked a plane to Austin or they knew that he was going to Austin, they should have rescinded that offer immediately and let that man walk up to the sunset. You know, you don't get to treat Alabama like it's a safety school or a backup plan, like you window shopping for a bigger NIL bag in the Lone Star State. It's plenty of money out there. Go to Texas Tech, Texas A&M, especially Texas. But if your heart isn't beat for beat with the tradition that Brian did it, then you just pack your damn bags and, you know, go out of town on the first thing that's blowing. You know, whether it's a plane, bus, bicycle, e-bike, whatever you got going, man. Kick rocks, get on your swing tricycle and get up out of here. And then to go even further, this man on the 11th, 2 days after he flips over there to Texas, he comes back and says, you know, I feel that, you know, the Crimson Tide doesn't have a commitment to winning. I know you lying. I know you lying. That was too loud. I know you lying. The Crimson Tide doesn't have a commitment to winning? Are you kidding me? Let that sink in for a second. Because I'm currently laughing so hard, I might need to get an oxygen tank. This man had the audacity, the nerve to claim that Alabama does not have a commitment to winning. He's talking about the coaches. He's talking about the players. He's talking about the school. He's talking about you. He's talking about Dirt Road alumni. Y'all ain't committed. Nobody could. He's talking about all the stuff, the history, the fights in the street, the rocks. They don't have a commitment to winning. This program doesn't have a commitment to winning. You chose Texas because you wanted to win. And since joining the SEC, Texas has accomplished what? Last time I checked, all of nothing. I don't know if they won a conference championship in any sport, let alone gotten close in football. They got this close, but they ain't win it. They are programmed with a gold-plated stadium. They got a trophy case that's collecting more dust than hardware. But Hollywood wants some smoke from us, talking about some. We don't have a commitment to winning. I'm gonna serve it to you cold here, son. Colder than dry ice. Because when you're talking about winning to a fan base that measures success in national titles, like a lot of people don't even care about what Coach DeBoer did the last 2 years. People looking slant-eyed at Saban for like a couple years there, you know, because we ain't won since 2020, 2022, 23. People was like, what's going on? What's going? You know what's going on? They was asking questions, and you joined a team who measures success by meaningful wins in October, because we know December and November didn't go too well. Dalen, check the roster while I hope you got a chance to look. You probably got a little piece of paper in there, got everybody's name on it for the last several years. If you look at the roster, you'll see that several members of the Crimson Tide 2025 team, some of those 2023 people, whether they're walk-ons or whatever, they got rings on, son. They got SEC championship rings on. Now, that ain't nothing to really boast about, but to you, that's a long way from where you come from and a long way from where Texas come from. You know, these men have looked Georgia in the eyes and they blinked last. And while Texas still trying to figure out how to navigate the conference. And, you know, to be honest, they have a problem with being in a conference where people actually hit back. Unlike Big Shirley Conference. Yes, that's right. Yeah, because of this foolishness, as I was putting this stuff together, the Big 12 shall now be known as the Big Shirley Conference. Yeah, they're going to be known as Big Shirley. We are calling the Pac-12 is going to be Big Shirley from now on in. Right, Big Shirley is the Big 12, same thing. To suggest that Alabama doesn't have a commitment to winning is a fairy tale told by someone who's just trying to justify a move that everybody knows it was about the Benjamins and the branding. Trying to blow up Shawait yourself. We don't have a problem with that, do you? But don't be out here just telling lies. If you want to talk about winning, show me the jury. Otherwise, keep the Tide's name out your mouth, man. Keep my team out your mouth. When you're talking to the media, when you're talking to somebody on YouTube or talking to somebody's part, keep the Crimson Tide out your mouth. I mean, we heard what you said, man. Over there on A to Z Sports, I guess you sat down to somebody, took a direct shot at the program, questioned if the Tide could stay afloat after the portal hits that we've taken. Been taking portal hits every year. And he wants to talk about death. He wants to talk about future. But you go in Texas, have you not looked at their past and their present? Let's look at the resume. You had a great season at NC State. You did all right, kid. And I'll give you that. 939 yards, 6 touchdowns on the ground, 1 in the air. It's impressive for a highlight reel. But you did it in the ACC. A conference that you got about 3 or 4 teams that got a pulse. Another 2 or 3 that's on life support. And I don't know if that was you or not. Where's Rutgers a part of? Is that the Big Ten? Or a couple of programs probably going broke just like Rutgers. You know, half the teams in the ACC out there not to win the championship. You know we got to deal with? We got the Kentucky coach. I can't call his name. He just said that he about to make some waves in the SEC. He might be right. Everybody trying to bring their best, man. You didn't just play against that for your 939 yards. About almost extra 200 in the air, through the air. Doing what you did against the Wolf Pack schedule is like a Tuesday afternoon walkthrough in the SEC compared to what happens on Saturday in the SEC. You're about to find out why those lanes that you saw in the ACC, why they close up so fast in the SEC. When you're staring down a defensive front that was built in a Tuscaloosa weight room. Oh, man, I don't know if you're going to be around there when Texas plays Alabama. I hope you are, because you're going to learn a valuable lesson. Your words will ring true forever. Maybe we can meet you in Atlanta and figure this out. But I tell you one thing, getting rid of that chump, moving on to somebody who really deserves our admiration, our appreciation. The poster boy is giving a master class. I hear you. I mean, the portal continues on, it lingers on, but while Hollywood was out here busy chasing neon lights and Longhorns and fast neon cars, you know. And by the way, Hollywood, keep your Dalen, keep your eye on the next draft while you out there. Coach Dalen the boy was out here doing exactly what we hired him to do, rebuilding the wall. This man, he finished the portal season like a man was possessed. They was on fire as a team over there. I just want y'all to know this man locked down the number 2 recruiting class in the nation, and proving that the Du Bois standard, the new, I call it the board domination standard. That's what we're gonna call it in the future. It hasn't slipped a millimeter. We're talking about landing absolute monsters like 5-star Xavier Crowell, edge rusher Xavier Griffin, guys who actually want the pressure in the crimson jersey. But Du Bois didn't panic when he lost people. He didn't stumble. He just kept stacking up top talent and, you know, making the rest of the country sit there like, man, yeah, he got some talent, but yeah, they ain't. What about the rushing? What you go? They can't run the ball, so you have all the time. You know, you're gonna need more people on defense than that, and they may have a point. But here's the best part. I want to personally thank this man. I want to thank Coach Caleb Du Bois, because after they signed Dalen, then Dalen started talking about going to Texas, and Dalen goes to Texas and he rescinds. I want to thank Coach Caleb Du Bois for not holding some doggone 40-minute press conference with a tear-soaked press conference with reporters sitting around where, he's explaining why Hollywood left, and some presser, the presser is not about Coach Caleb Du Bois. This is not about Coach Caleb Du Bois. This is about the 30-year-old player that played at the Capstone. No. I want to thank Coach Caleb Du Bois for not carrying himself up to this podium, trying to implement rules by himself like he calling shots. He didn't give us a PowerPoint on how Texas convinced him to flip with a chronological order of all the calls, where he was sitting, what position the moon was in, where the boy was at the bathroom or in the shower. I want to thank him for not doing that. He didn't whine to the reporters about fairness and loyalty and broken systems. Coach just chalked it up to the game like a pimp. He chalked it up. He knows that if a man don't want to be a legend in Tuscaloosa, we don't have time to convince him. We just move on to the next gladiator who's ready to bleed for the program. And that's why Alabama will always be Alabama. While Texas is trying to come back, get back to the Vince Young days, because it's a long time ago. That's like us trying to get back to the Bobby Humphrey days. It was okay, but we are the bullies on the block, man. We the kings of the hill, and Dalen Smothers just gave us exactly what we need, a reason to be absolutely mean, and I mean absolutely mean all the damn time. Not in and out. Can I get a roll tide out there from somebody? Because that's what we need around here. Here on Tight Sports, that scripted A is a way of life, and truth is served up with a side of crimson fire. And while the critics have been busy writing an obituary, and certain Hollywood types have been out here chasing the lights in Austin, Caleb Du Bois and his staff have been riding the dusty back roads, catching buses, and getting on the back of turnip wagons and going, picking up families at the airport and getting pizzas ordered. Just cooking up a roster that's about to put the country on notice. I'm telling you. Let's look at the receipts, because in this game, the math don't lie and the rankings don't blitz, because they mean something right now. We're talking about consensus powerhouse performance across every major recruiting service in the land. And I know, and I think, I'm trusting that Coach Caleb Du Bois, Courtney Morgan, and team, they have the eye for what they need, which is more important than anything else. Do they have that Signetti eye? But when you're in the top of the thing, do you have to be that good? Let's hope they do. I think they got what it takes. 24/7 has the Crimson Tide locked in at number 2. The number 2 class in the nation, while On 3 and Rivals have us firmly planted in the top 5. I think number 3 or 4. ESPN is looking at the blue chip ratio and shaking their heads because the talent density it's always been high, but they got to be your players. The talent density remains high in Tuscaloosa, and it's reaching a critical mass. Because if they don't explode out with a championship, then yeah, people gonna be looking at us crazy again. And that didn't happen by accident, though. It happened by design, and it starts at the top with the athletic director Greg Byrne. He didn't just hire a coach; he hired a stone cold recruiting assassin who understands that in the SEC, you either hunt or you're on the menu. So Greg provided, AD Burns provided the vision, but Caleb DeBoer he's providing that surgical execution that we need, proving that he's a developer, a leader, and the ultimate closer on the recruiting trail. I know we as fans of Alabama, we're like, man, that first year and second year was kind of but yeah, they are about another 100 teams that would love to have the last 2 seasons we've had. Yeah. Saban went to the SEC championship second year and lost. Caleb DeBoer went to the ACC championship and lost. I don't know if he can win a 16-team playoffs in his 3rd year, but you sure wouldn't get there by winning 8 games last year. Or 6 games last year, won 10. Lost the SEC championship like a buster. You know what I'm saying? But he was there. I guess we weren't supposed to be there either. Got beat down by the champs. But we were there. But you can't talk about a masterpiece without mentioning the men behind the curtain, the talent architect. Courtney Morgan is on the, he's the secret sauce, man. He bridges the gap between the vision and the commitment. He's playing chess while the rest of the country is playing go fish. Do you have any tight ends? Do you have a tight end? Do you have a tight end? No. This man's out, they doing it. I want to introduce a little bit some of the people on the staff we don't talk about enough. Alongside with Jatavius Sanders, the director of recruiting strategy, they have turned the Mel Moore building into a high-tech war room this recruiting and transfer portal season. And looking at the recruiting Avengers, the boys assembled a staff who eat, sleep, and breathe the grind. You got Ryan Grubb and Kane Womack setting the tone at the coordinator spots, trying to tell people what they're looking for at these different positions. They showing these kids the scheme is elite as the brand. Then when you look at veterans like, associate coach Freddie Roach, assistant coach Robert Gillespie, 2 men who know exactly what the standard means and how to sell it to the best players in the country. We're talking about a staff that doesn't sleep. And then you got Derek Nix coming over with all his experience, some at Auburn, some at Ole Miss, some at Southern Miss. Derek Nix is out here dominating, getting recruiters, building them up and pulling them in a market that he owns. Like he got a patent on the receiver market. The receivers that was going to the other side of the state, guess what? They're going to start looking now more often because he already know them. Maurice Lindquist, Jason Jones, rebuilding the trenches in the secondary with ferocity that we haven't seen in a couple of years. And I do mean a couple years, not just 2, several years. You got Brian Ellis, Chris Robinson, Chuck Morrell, Christian Robinson. I don't know if you know that Christian Robinson is one of the best recruiters in the nation. Outside linebackers. These people that are locking down linebackers and quarterbacks, ensuring that every position group is overflowing with that 4 or 5-star hunger. Forget that talent. Hunger is different. Don't forget about Jay Nunez handling the specialist and Bob Welton, the director of player personnel, who's the gatekeeper of the Bama Fit. And when these kids get on campus, they are met by a legend, Clinton "Ha-Ha" Dix, the head of player development. And he don't pull no punches. You go look his comments up. He ain't playing with nobody. Coaches, reporters, former players, he don't care. Having a man with a pedigree like that, that's been like, he's been on the mountaintop. But all the way to the league, teaching a new generation what it means to be a professional in these collegiate ranks and can show them what it's about beyond that. That's a level of prestige you just can't buy with NIL money. Unless that's just all you want. You just get on the bus with Smothers and get on up out of here. And before the haters forget, What about your running game? Coach Adrian Clem did a whole show on him last week. I wouldn't hire him to do to coach my NFL team. Hadn't been that successful. But his college work, oh yeah. One time the highest paid offensive lineman in the country, offensive lineman going to the pros, offenses producing, doing all kind of stuff, slashing sacks into nothing, cutting back on pressures, all that stuff. Coach Clem is here. He's there. He's going to take these guys and whip them into shape. I believe he will. Even if we start throwing a bunch of interceptions and fumbling the ball, I think Coach Clem going to do his job. The other stuff, we got to wait and see if it happens, but we know what hadn't been happening. We hadn't had a line that had that veracity that we needed him to have, that ferociousness, and he's going to put it in there. So what, haters, what if this offense produces 1,500 yards just from the running backs, not the quarterback? Running backs. Quarterback may have 300 yards running around here or there, running for his life. Every once in a while, you got to run for your life. Even if you never played football, you may have to run for your life. What if Coach Clem helps to reduce sacks from, 30-something? What if he just cut that down by, 75? Let's be a half. We just cut it in half. We got 16, 17, 18 sacks on the whole season. And what if our quarterback is able to just complete 6 more stinking passes a game? You know what it means, haters? It means that the tide is in your team's arms. Yeah, that's what it means. Now, while some people are flipping away because they're afraid of the death, they want to flip him, flipping this school. Coach DeBoer is stacking up more bodies in the pile. 19 elite transfers, a high school class that features the monsters I talked about, along with Jari Evans, Darian Morgan. These aren't just players, man. They're the future of the SEC, no matter where they was going to wear. Look, Darian Morgan, he looks up to Julio Jones. He looks like Julio Jones. And to be honest, he kind of looked like Julio Jones' third year in the NFL. All right. Alabama City, Alabama. Now, and they chose the Tide, man, because they know where the trophies live at. Oh, yeah. You start doing the math, ratio percentages, your chances you're going to be in the SEC if you still think the SEC gets you, the pipeline to whatever. Yeah, come to Alabama. So to the haters and to the skeptics and the people who thought the transition would be some big reset that's going to take a long time, look at the rankings, man. The people still coming. We're trying to figure some things out here in year 3. But we're sitting at number 2 and 5 across the board because of the work being done by DeBoer Morgan. And they're burning everybody. This entire staff has been nothing short of exceptional. We didn't just survive the change, we conquered it. Like I said, coming off an SEC championship loss, to the second round exit, to the eventual champ. Haters, just close your cheese curl catcher and cheer that your team could just catch up with where we are. I already know it's only about, I think there's about 8 teams ahead of us. That's based on the fact that we couldn't do no. The offensive line was just, I think it's 8 teams ahead of the Crimson Tide right now. And that's off the top of my head. I'll do an in-depth data analysis somewhere in the middle of the summer, but I think right now, about 8 teams are ahead of Crimson Tide. I mean, we put us in number 9, and number 9 gets into the playoffs. But what if the DeBoer standard, not the DeBoer standard, is taking shape, but it's going to be a decade of DeBoer domination. DeBoer domination is starting to take off, and currently ranked at the top of the mountain is pretty good. So we aren't rebuilding anything. We're reloading this Alabama clip that started in the 1920s. That's why I'm trying to get people to understand. Stop talking about one coach. You got a lot of great coaches in this place. That's why I put it in my intro. A lot of people don't even know who he is. Wade Watts, look him up. I wish he can come out there today. He'd probably go to jail right after practice. Can you imagine a man from the 1930s just showed up, start coaching right now, the way he did to make his team successful? Man, you have the right to remain silent. So keep your skepticism and your doubts, and keep your Hollywood delusions. I'm talking to you, Caden, or Kalen, whatever your name is. We'll keep the rings, the rankings, and the respect, man. I got to switch over. I'm going to switch over to the hardwood before I get out of here. Just had to get it off. I just want to tell the young man. I just had to say something about that because it was uncalled for. I don't care if nobody switches schools, backs out of agreements. I don't care if you go somewhere and get $300,000. Don't even play football no more. I don't even care. Take care of your mom. Open that doggone chicken wing franchise in the chicken fixing spots and the hunting lodge on your granddaddy's property. I do not care. But anyway, let me transition. Get your mind right. It's February 2nd, February 3rd, and the energy in Tuscaloosa is shifting a little bit. So let's get to work. The High Flyers, the Gym Tide Masterclass. Oh yeah, I'm talking about the ladies. You know, here on Tight Sports, the ladies would never be neglected or disrespected. Okay? They're going to always be respected up in here. The gym squad, man, I'm not talking about, gym dolls. I'm talking about, don't call them nothing. Call them Gym Tide, call them Gymnast Team, whatever. The Crimson Tide on the match, man. On the last 14 days, Ashley Johnson's crew has been absolutely lightning. Currently sitting at number 4 in the entire nation. They are walking through the fire of the SEC. They're 1-1 in the conference. Weeks early. Don't let it fool you. Don't let it fool you. This team is a heavyweight. On the 23rd, they looked at number 7 in Missouri in the eyes and said, not in our house. They sent those ladies home with a sad face. 197 points to take the win. That just sets the tone. Then we go back to Friday, January 30th. Coleman Coliseum was electric. The Tide did not disappoint against number 22 Oregon State. Oh, that's old boys team. Well, But Oregon State, they dropped 197 points, fueled by floor exercise rotation. That was pretty cinematic. And we're talking about 49 points on the floor. That's the kind of score to make judges look twice. Gabby Gladue, I think she's out of Canada, is out here performing at a level that feels like she's from the future. You know what I'm saying? Like just Michael J. Fox is going to drop out of her book bag or something. When she hits the floor, the music is just a suggestion because this lady is pure rhythm. I love the focus. I love the poise. They are supportive of one another. They stick their landings. They represent the script A with the kind of elegance that only comes from elite preparation. They're still in the hunt, tied for the upper echelon of the SEC as we move toward the postseason. The Gym Tide isn't just a contender. They are becoming a benchmark, folks. Be very proud of those ladies. I got a comment came in right here. Who is this? What's up, Wade? What's up? What up, Tight? He says, and he starts talking to hieroglyphics or something. I don't know what that is. Be safe out there, Wade. Now, when you switch the channel to the other hardwood, Kirsty Curry has her, she has a group playing like with that find a way mentality that should be studied by the textbooks and the guys on the other side of the building. These ladies are currently number 21. I say that because, they have been number 21 forever. They kind of, last year was kind of weird because they only had Barker and really nobody else, it seems. But they had Essence Cody, but it was two-lady team. But this year, had number 21, 19-4 overall, 5-4 in the conference. In the past 14 days, they showed the highest of highs, and they learned the toughest of lessons. On the 29th, they went in the State Coliseum and absolutely dismantled Georgia. Payback, punks. Essence Cody was a force of nature, dropping 16 points and dominating that glass like she owned the rights to it, like her middle name was Fiberglass. Now, Tamia Scott added from the perimeter 13 points. And the defense that the Lady Bulldogs, we held them, they held them to a meager 53 points. That's right. Dusted them off. That's blueprint of basketball. Smothering defense and efficient scoring. Now, they ran into a buzzsaw on February 1st, LSU. They lost to LSU 103-63 in it's a tough loss. But when you look at it in context, we're in the middle of the gauntlet where everything feels like a Final Four preview. You got South Carolina, you got South Carolina, you got LSU, you got Texas. They're a little bit ahead of us, but we hanging in there and they're getting better. They're showing improvement. But despite that scoreboard of Baton Rouge, this team chemistry is undeniable. They are a scrappy bunch. They're supportive. They're currently sitting at the 7th position in the conference. And to be honest, the conference is probably the deepest it's been in late women's basketball, in a while, because you got about 5 teams that are vying for a national championship. So I'm standing with the ladies. You know, they playing with swagger, and you know they belong on that big stage. You know, a couple of defensive stops. Who knows? Maybe they get to a doggone of the final 8 because we're in a great conference right now. You know, so Cody and Scott are leading, and the March is going to be very interesting. You know, in the months to come to Tuscaloosa, but I could definitely see them making some noise in the tournament. Now, February 1st, we gave up a Benjamin up there in Florida, man. You just, you know. No, that's the wrong team. My bad. I got to move over to the men's. They didn't want to give up the Benjamin. I got to talk about the men's basketball team. Jesus, give me mercy now. Now, Lord. I just don't want to start cursing and lose my channel real quick. I mean, let me push this thing down. Now, about the men's team, before I get out of here, we got to have a different kind of conversation. We got to talk about Nate Oates. And I mean, I want to be clear, man. I love the blue collar talk. I love my hard hat. I love the 3-point barrages. I love the fact that the team is 23 in the nation. Should be much higher if you ask me. I love all that. Yeah, y'all beat Florida. Finally, y'all gave him a coach. Y'all couldn't beat him. We would give people coaches. Well, you know the rest of that story, Wade. Anyway, I love the fact that you know we sitting at 4-4, man. But Alabama, to their credit, men's team is playing one of the hardest schedule in the country. Even that early season schedule was kind of ridiculous. But you gotta see what you got. But I'm looking for more than flash this year. I'm looking for the Final Four. I'm not sure I'm going to get it. And right now, the defense we are seeing definitely tells me we are part of the Final Four. Over the last 10 days, we have seen defensive lapses that will make a coach lose his mind. I almost lost my mind. I don't know nothing about coaching basketball. Don't even know how to teach you how to do a free throw. All I know is you miss it, you're going to run a mile. Giving up 100 points to Florida, you cannot under any circumstances allow triple digits and expect to be taken seriously. You know, when you look at the numbers, they're very staggering. Alabama is the 331st. 331st in the nation in scoring defense. 331st in scoring defense. There's only 365 teams in Division I. 365. There are 16 in our conference. We are 331st in scoring defense. We literally are in the bottom 20 teams in the country at preventing points. I ain't trying to be funny. Our defensive rating is 264. That's not a slump. That's a systematic failure to guard the yard. Now, I know Nate Oates has a thing where he loses his coach every year, his assistant coaches almost every year, but did they suck the defense out the team when they left? And let me go back to that 331 for a minute. To be clear, this Alabama team is the worst Alabama team in the state of Alabama when it comes to scoring defense. Listen to what I'm saying. This Alabama team is the worst Alabama team in Alabama when it comes to scoring defense. Let me count the ways. South Alabama, 59th scoring defense. Alabama A&M, 160th. North Alabama, 274th. Oh, I'm sure we beat Alabama State. Alabama State, 319th in scoring defense in the country. And Alabama, 331st. And I would bet our NIL, I'll probably put about $10 on it, that the NIL spent on our basketball team is nearly as much as the combined budgets of these whole dang on programs. We got LeBaron Fallon and Aiden Holloway scoring at a clip that keeps us in games. They'll go in the NBA and dribble around people and shoot threes, whatever. But if we don't find some dog out there in this defensive end, we just a high-scoring exit in the second round, maybe even the first. Get out there and run into a Princeton and get back doors like the boys across the state did. I think that was Princeton. We are 9th in the SEC right now. That ain't good. And while, you know, people think we're gonna come in at 20th by the end of the season, that ain't good either. But the eye test says we're leaving the front door wide open. You can't do that. You can't do it at home or in your business. Coach Oates, we want a banner, bro. I just take a Final Four banner. The whole thing, I know it's tricky, whatever. We want confetti though, man. We don't, but you don't get that by playing Matador defense. We need to see that blue collar mentality translate in the stops on the other side of the floor. Maybe you need to take some of the blue collar off the offense and put some of that down there on the other side. I mean, this blue collar stuff you've been talking since you've been here in the hard hats, it needs to translate in the stops, deflections, block shots, refusal to let people drive the lane like they're in some damn parade route, the Veterans Day parade where everybody can get in. Like, really, who should be in the Veterans Day parade? Everybody, because you're supporting the veterans. So you let the kids come out there, they blowing bubbles. You know, like, anyway, the offense is elite. Number 8 in the nation. This show is over. No, for real. 8 in the nation. The defense moved out of the Final Four category. Final Four is just, you know, until we get out of that Final Four category, you can forget about a Final Four. I know I can. It's a tale of two energies at the capstone. You got the gym tide and the women hoops squad showing that synergy and support leads to team success. Then you got the men's squad. Everybody driving flashy cars. Everybody doing it. Everybody got the bling. Everybody got the deal. Everybody, you know, they're assassins ready to go overseas and make $1 million. Ready to do all that stuff. Ladies ain't got none of that. I hope they buying them Lexuses or something. They deserve it. I'm sure they're getting some, but they ain't getting what these boys getting over here on this basketball team. The men's team, they got all the talent, they say. They got all in the cash to win it all. But they playing like they forgot the goal is to keep the ball out of the hoop sometimes. You put it in a lot, keep it out a lot. Put it in a lot, keep it out a lot. That's basketball. Basketball is not shooting like you at basketball camp. Coach Oates, your standard is flailing towards failure. We don't settle for almost, man. We don't celebrate close because if your defensive coaches are leaving, we can remember how to either shoot three or shoot from 3 feet in. We got it. We can go get one of your sisters, bring them back, and they can do some defense, slow that thing down, and win a championship. You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be mad because they're gonna take your offense and win a championship. You're gonna be mad. Slow that thing down about 20%. Because these boys can't breathe on the other side of the court. That's the problem. They can't breathe, or you ain't running them enough. So whether you're on the beam or the baseline, man, if you're wearing that script A, man, we expect excellence. That don't mean championship. That mean playing like it makes some sense. How you gonna be 331st in scoring defense and 8 in offense? Get it together or gather your things, bro. I'm gonna just say it like that. Because baseball could use all your funds and possibly use it much more efficiently than what you're doing right now. I like to have a World Series at Alabama. I'll take any championship. This right here, what you're doing. We know these guys are 1 and dones or 2 and dones. We know that. Get them over on the baseball field. We don't need about 5 bats and two arms. Keep playing. Keep playing, man. My time is up. My energy is depleted. And this gas station sushi is wearing me out. So just up here talking about this Coach Oates disaster over there at Coleman. It's just, man, somebody bring on the soju, man. Just bring it on in. Let me drink this stuff. Anyway, thank you for joining me here today on Tight Sports Around the Herd. Don't forget to smack that like button before you get out of here. Flick that notification bell. Flick it. Flick that notification bell so you'll know when I go live, and poke that like button right in the eye. I want to thank all of the people who chimed in. Thank you, Wade Lewis, for chiming in. Keep an eye on us. I hope you are safe out there on the road, wherever you may be. And whatever you do, Wade, do not stop and get any gas station sushi. Shout out to B Sharp, that Sharpshooters Podcast, Kangaroo Black, Bama Long Run, Piano Man, we got to get at me. Pull up on me. Rags and Fitness, what's going on, man? All the best to these guys, and thank you guys for making Alabama great always. And all the best to the brothers at Auburn Addicts and Water Cooler Podcast. And I saw Dustin with the Up Tempo Podcast, and it's SEC season. They were down there at the Senior Bowl doing their thing. Shout out to them. And shout out to Huggy Beard and Vandy Chris at the Golden Broom Podcast. I got to catch up with Vandy Chris, man, because I want to talk to him about what's going on. What's the post-Pavia Commodore is going to be looking like, you know. But I'm advising all those guys at Auburn, you know, if you're an Auburn fan, you probably just want to, I don't know, man, just pour into your swim team and diving team. They should be able to give you something to do as we go through the summer, because this fall is going to look like trash. With all that, remember to join me. I got some shorts that I'm dropping. I dropped a short recently, tribute to a long time practice referee. Man, he did it for a long time. I think he recently he passed away. Tribute to him. And I just dropped some funny stuff about Gus Malzahn decided to retire. Gus Malzahn retired. If Gus Malzahn is not coaching at a G5 in about 18 months, I'll be shocked. That man's 60 years old. He can run that game he can run that game down to G5 and be right back in the playoffs. He know that. That man could go to Tulsa, UTEP, and beat them people up with all that misdirection and trickery and be right. And that man was getting paid too much at FSU. Yeah, to produce some or nothing. That's what that was. Yeah, he retired all right. So you can get the rest of that money. They want to pay him too much money. And they got them one big win in Alabama. Congratulations. But with that, we'll see you next Tuesday right here on Around the Herd. 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. As long as the Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Until next time, always remember, roll, tide, roll. I didn't hit the button right.